Good afternoon, welcome back to Turbo Tortoise Tech. In this review, I have in front of me in this box the most powerful 14-inch notebook ever made. It is of course the ROG Zephyrus with the brand new 4900HS. Let's go! Alrighty, so as I've alluded, in the box in front of me is a ROG Zephyrus G14 with the 4900HS and the 2060 Max-Q design. It's got some other RAM and SSD stuff which we'll look at as well, but the processor and GPU setup is primed to be the most powerful 14-inch notebook ever made. So let's start with what's in the box. First, you have to fight the handle and then open it up and it kicks up the notebook all nicely for you. And we'll just turn this a bit sideways here and we can get into it. Whoop. And as you can see, it will help you remove the laptop. This is the laptop. You can see how thin it is. I mean, the build quality on this thing is incredible. We'll give you a couple of shots of that in a moment, but continuing on with the package and the experience of opening up this ROG thing. You've got the Republic of Gamers in the top right hand corner over here, and then a little ROG package, little love package if you will. And inside this little love package you will find 3 pieces of literature. The first being the G series notebook manual, and it gives you a couple of little tidbits of information about the Wi-Fi and how to charge it and how to turn it on, etc. So if you do need that, it is there to help you, because ROG, you know, they like to help people out with these kind of things. And then we have the warranty card. The nice thing about this warranty card is actually your serial number is on the back of this booklet. So if it does ever get rubbed off of your machine, etc., then you've got it right there. So that's worth keeping for sure, because yeah, 42,000 Rand notebook. Let's hang on to the warranty card. And then they have a really cool anime cartoon style little booklet with a couple of use case scenarios. And yes, it might seem a little bit kitschy, but I think it's cool that they made the effort, considering they're calling the back screen LED the animatrix, that they put in an anime styled little booklet on how to use it. Okay, I can see the corniness, but it's a nice little touch. It's effort, and that's always nice when you're buying a product like this, that they put in stuff like that. So I give a point there to ROG for doing that. Then we get to the other side pieces. Now, what confused me when I first opened up this thing was the fact that there are 2 3-pin power cables that come with this laptop. And I was like, why 2? Well, of course, because it comes with 2 separate chargers as well, isn't it? So there is the 180 watt power brick, which is the main one, which is what you'll need if you're going to do gaming, etc., stuff like that. Then you're going to need the 180 watt. But if you're out and about and you're not going to be needing the GPU, then they put in a little 65 watt as well. And this connects through the USB Type-C on the side of the notebook, which is also a Thunderbolt port, which is also able to connect displays. So a 3-in-1 on one port, and one of those is for this little charger. So a nice little touch, that out and about charger, because the processor, the 4900HS, only needs 65 watts to function. So you can still do all of your normal work functionality, you know, even probably light video editing and stuff off the integrated GPU on that, but that will run everything, which is pretty cool. And then obviously when you're gaming, you've got the 180 watts, so one for home, one for out and about. And then finally a little USB 3 a 10100 LAN card. Now it does come with Wi-Fi 6 capable, so I don't think you'll need this if you've got AC Wi-Fi in your home to game off of it, etc., quite comfortably without any delay or anything like that. But if you are in need of a cable connection, then hey, well, nice little bit of them to throw that in to the notebook. But without further ado, I think it's time to have a closer look at the ROG Zephyrus and its beautiful angles. Alrighty, so we've had quite a close shave with the gaming Ultra Blade, and something I would like to take note of is just the weight. This is one of the primary things about this laptop that's absolutely incredible. It's only 1.7 kilograms is the ROG Zephyrus. And for what it has in it at 1.7 kilogram, it's quite staggering. If we look at some of the performance benchmarks and stuff that I've done, its processor is actually more powerful with 65 watts of power draw than my 2700X is. And that's in 18 months. They've basically taken the best 8-core 16-thread desktop that AMD could produce, made it so efficient that it can now fit inside a 1.7 kilogram laptop with very little fan curve because it's only producing drawing 65 watts worth of power, to the point that this thing stays cool and quiet regardless of its workload. It does have an RTX 2060, which isn't the most powerful RTX graphics card, but it'll play anything on 1080p at 60 FPS. And the one thing I want to draw special attention to when I was doing the benchmarks was just how smooth that gameplay really is. If we look at the Metro Last Light benchmark, I love this graph because it shows you dips in FPS when it's loading that sort of stuff into VRAM. A lot of the time is when you get those dips and spikes, and the processor is often the culprit when that is happening. But it isn't the case here, and I've seen it on most other mobile platforms, I'd say almost all of them. That's a first that I've seen on that thing. The way that this thing has been set up is just so clever, with the way that the kickstand pushes the laptop up. I mean, the software is ultra comprehensive. There's no overclocking and that sort of stuff, but if you're wanting to customize the animatrix display, if you're wanting to do different power curves and such for the laptop, I mean, the auto setting is already very good. You can put it in turbo or high performance if you want to make sure that there is no delay, because sometimes it does try and use the internal GPU before it goes to the discrete graphics. And then I would see weird kind of like a really low FPS, and then suddenly it would sort of spike up. But you can just disable that in NVIDIA control panel and set it to the discrete GPU constantly anyway. So these are not real problems. As far as the device goes, there's really no problem with this. And at 1.7 kilograms, yes, even with a price tag of 40K, you might look at it and go, well, that's a lot for a laptop. But a laptop with this kind of power, this is like having a PS4 Pro and a server in your pocket. That's what this is like. The power that this thing delivers for graphics and that sort of workload, with a 2K 60 Hz screen as well, so you've got really nice on-the-go real estate to work on this kind of screen, is unparalleled. There's no product in the market that can fulfill what this does now, thanks to this Ryzen 9 4900HS and the way that ROG have put it together. It's actually just sort of mind-blowing, really. I've never actually used a laptop like this. I was, on the cusp of the launch of some of the best gaming notebooks in the world a couple years ago, and nothing was like this. That was this smooth, that just championed on, that everything I tried to throw at it, it just swatted to the side. I don't really know what else to say. I would have liked, honestly though, to get a 120 Hz version to see what 120 Hz 2K on this monitor would look like. The RTX 2060 can't really drive it because it's got 6 gigs of VRAM, so it does sort of cap out. Like if we look at the superposition 4K benchmark, it does sort of cap out when it starts to run out of VRAM a little bit, and it doesn't. 8 gig I think would have been a bit better, but who says you could even fit it into the chassis? I think everything that they've done, considering the size of the chassis, it is just absolutely mind-blowing. And maybe an RGB keyboard would have been nice, although the silver and white one does look super slick and wouldn't be out of place on a boardroom table unless your animatrix is busy flashing someone across the table rude messages, which is something that I would probably do, which is why I no longer work in corporate and I'm standing in front of you. And on that bombshell, I'm going to end this review. Absolutely incredible piece of gear from ROG. I could only hope that they would be charitable enough to give me one day. Who knows what the future holds. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. We do hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, hit us up with a like and subscribe, and we will see you on the flip side.